Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we're going to be taking a look at this 4222. So it's been a while since we've actually looked at this 4222. I think it was like way back in October was the last time we gave this 4222 a real look, and I've had a lot of you guys ask for a kind of an updated version of this 4222. So as I always say, guys, I know I've got a little bit of list in front of me of some other formations that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, but if there are any of us that you do want to see like urgently, do let me know in the comment section, and if they are kind of really popular, then we'll get around to doing those as soon as possible. So you can see that the team that we are using for this now, just to kind of like clear a few things up, we do have that Footmas Inaki Williams in there at the moment. That is going to become Ronaldo, and I know Ronaldo will be off chemistry, but I don't mind that too much. I'd rather have Ronaldo on sort of 8 chemistry than a lot of strikers in this game. But this is actually the 4222, this is actually a formation I'm going to be trying out. The reason why I wanted to do this video is because, as I said, I'm going to be using Ronaldo in there, and then Ronaldo and Mbappe up front, and then Neymar at left cam, Messi at right cam. So this is a formation I actually really want to try out and so I kind of get used to, because I think this is going to be a formation I am going to be using. I know I do use the 4-3-2-1 quite a lot, and I think that for me has been the best formation that I've used in the last few weeks. So I'm getting into this 4222. We've got William Carvalho as the new CDM as well, partnering Alan. So I think this should be a good formation, and I think this will really suit me. I do like this 4222. I think it is something that it's a formation that I don't see a lot of people use, but it's a formation that whenever I come up against in like FUT Champs or Rivals or anything like that, it's a tough formation to play against. Because as I said, it's got a bit of everything, you know. It's obviously got that straight back four, obviously got those two CDMs, those two cams that we've covered in many videos before. That they're in. The cams are really a key position in this formation, because obviously those cams don't get marked by really anyone, because naturally no player in any formation starts in that position where it's able to mark. So it's really awkward, but those cams really do pick up some really great spaces in between the lines, and it does make it really difficult to defend against those cams and obviously those two strikers up front. And yes, it will help obviously the fact that I will have Ronaldo and Mbappe, that I will have the two amazing strikers up front that will be able to finish off a lot of the chances that we create. So I think this is obviously going to be a great formation for us. Now going into those all important instructions, now the fullbacks are, as always, they're a bit of a talking point, because it's the sort of thing that you could do a lot of things with the fullbacks. You could obviously have them on balanced, or you could have them on stay back while attacking, and this is something that this is a position that I will kind of leave up to you, and obviously you guys will know your play styles and based on your teams as well. Given the fact that we are going to have like a really amazing front four, and for me personally, I like to think of myself as a pretty good attacker in FIFA, so I typically always tend to have my fullbacks on stay back while attacking, because as I said, because I'm a good attacker, I don't necessarily need as many players forward to be able to create chances. And given the fact that the 4 players that I do have at the top end of the pitch are, you know, some real top end superstar players, I don't necessarily need the fullbacks to go forwards. I'd rather have kind of a more solid defense, because I've got such great strikers up front. If you're someone that maybe doesn't have the best players up front, or maybe you want to be a little bit more attacking, then you could obviously have your fullbacks on balance. But for me personally, and given my team and the way I like to play, stay back while attacking suits me. But it's a sort of thing that you can put on stay back while attacking on balance. It obviously depends on your play style and the team that you have, but for me personally, I would like to go with my fullbacks onto stay back while attacking, and we always keep them on overlap. We always want them going on the outside, because no matter what, if they stay on the outside, it's going to funnel. It's first and foremost, it's going to funnel your opponents in on the inside, but it's also going to make sure that your play is always stretched, because you don't want your fullbacks going inside, and it just makes everything a bit crammed, a bit narrow, and it just kind of makes it very, very difficult. So I always keep them on the overlap. Now the 2 CDMs, we have gone for man mark. Now something that I've used quite a lot recently. I've used man mark on the defensive behaviour. For me personally, you can use cut passing lanes if you want. If you're someone that wants to kind of cut those passing lanes and create a lot of counter attacks, then going on cut passing lanes is probably the way for you. For me personally, I like to go man mark. I always find that when I play people, I struggle more when people kind of stick to me. You know, sometimes when you play people and you feel like every time you pick the ball up, you feel like you've got someone straight on top of you. That's because your opponent's CDMs are on man mark. So basically, anytime you pass the ball into your opponent, your CDMs are going to be stuck right on them, and they're not really going to be able to take much of a touch and do anything. They kind of the only option they're going to have to do really is they're just going to have to immediately pass the ball off first time. They're not going to be able to take a touch and turn, because your CDM is going to be right on top of them. So for me, I always find that I struggle when I play against people that do that to me, and I always find that when I do that against people, I have more success. And in terms of cutting passing lanes, if you're man marking, you know, chances are, especially if your CDM is quite a strong physical CDM, chances are you're going to be able to just bully them off the ball and start a counter attack anyway. Whereas with cut passing lanes, I find that it can be very effective in starting counter attacks. But if your CDMs do go to try and jump in front of that passing lane, if they miss, that's it, that your CDM is out of the game. So I just think man mark as well is a bit less risky, and it can still yield the same amount of rewards. So I just think man mark is the way to go. Stay back while attacking on the attacking support. Now, I know a lot of you guys obviously were pleased that I pointed out, obviously, drop between defenders. But for me personally, drop between defenders doesn't really work in this case because we obviously have 2 CDMs rather than 1. And that CDM really wants to be a central CDM on his own rather than in a 2. So the fact that we've got 2 CDMs, we don't really drop between defenders is not really very effective. So in this case, I think you just want to keep on stay back while attacking. I think that is definitely what I found to be more effective. I did try out drop between defenders, and it didn't really work too well. I just think as well, when you're telling one of them to drop between defenders, you don't need obviously both of them if you're going to do that, but it does obviously make it a little bit tougher on the other midfield partner because he has then all that excess ground to cover. And it just kind of makes your team a little bit imbalanced. So a drop between defenders is not the way to go. For me, stay back while attacking was the way to go if you indeed want to play with this way. And obviously keeping them on the cover centre is always the way to go. Now in the 2 cam slots, I decided to just have them pretty much on as standard as possible. The only thing we did change was we put them on get into the box, because for me personally, given the fact that this front 4 is going to be the only attacking things that we have, we want these 4 getting into the box, and that we do have the 2 CDMs that are obviously going to be on stay back while attacking, so they're kind of going to be on the edge of the box. They're probably, when we're attacking, going to be on around the 30-35 yard mark. So whilst if the ball does get cleared to the edge of the box, we're not going to get counter-attack because we do have those CDMs, and we do have obviously our fullbacks that are in position, so we can afford to let our 2 cams get into the box. We don't need one to stay on edge of the box because we do have the 2 midfielders that are going to be back, so getting into the box is definitely the key for our 2 cams. And up front in the 2 striking positions, I know that we do have Mbappe and Williams, but that will be eventually Ronaldo, as I said, but it doesn't really matter. It's about the personnel. We want to keep them on stay central because we do have a little bit of width with those 2 cams. We don't want them to drift wide. I personally found it's more effective when you keep them stay central in the middle of the box where they're going to be scoring their goals, and obviously on getting behind. If you have pacey strikers, getting behind it is the way to play. If you have maybe 2 slow strikers, if you do use a slow striker, you maybe use a Harry Kane or a Lewandowski or a Suarez, for example, the best thing to do is to go onto target man, because if they're a slow striker, typically they're probably going to be a bit more physical and a bit more strength based. So target man's probably the way to go. And if you do play with like one slow striker, so if you play with maybe like a Lewandowski and a Timo Werner, put Lewandowski, for example, on target man, and put that Timo Werner then on getting behind. But if you've got 2 pacey strikers like me, getting behind is the strategy to go for. And then moving on into our tactics, these are the tactics that I use. Now, as I say to you guys all the time, for me, I always keep my tactics the same, and as you guys will come accustomed to obviously watching some of these videos, is that you'll see that our tactics pretty much stay the same for every formation. The only thing that changes is maybe the width and depth maybe changes by 1 or 2 points every time, but pretty much I keep my width and depth the same, because as I say to you guys all the time, it's about consistency. It's about trying to keep your tactics and your instructions and whatnot consistent, so that any formation you change to, especially if you're someone that plays draft a lot, having the same sort of tactics and instructions, you become accustomed to it, and then obviously the only thing that changes is your personnel. So obviously you're not going to keep the same team forever. Like me, I am changing my team at the moment, but because I'm going to be using the same sort of tactics and formations, and a lot of the players that I'm changing to are quite similar to the players that I have been using, so it won't really be too much of a change. But overall, for me personally, I found this 4-2-2 to be a really good formation. I'm looking forward to using this formation in next weekend's weekend league, because the 4-2-3-1, the 4-3-2-1 is a very good formation. It's still something I want to use, but given the personnel that I'm going to have, it doesn't really fit. You know, obviously I'm going to have Neymar, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi. If I was going to play 4-3-2-1, one of those 4 players would have to play in midfield. So it's not personally a good formation for me right now, and that's the thing that I always say to you guys as well. That's why it's good to have backup formations per se, because you can't just fit into one formation all the time. You know, 4-3-2-1 is a formation that I really like, and for me it's the best formation in the game, but if I've got players that I like using, I can't force them into a formation, so then I have to change formation, and that's why it's always good to have a different formation to change into. But overall, this 4-2-2 was an amazing formation, and it's definitely something I'm going to be using going forwards with this new team. So if you do want to see any more formation videos, as I always say to you guys, do let me know in the comment section. Do drop a thumbs up on the video if you did find this video useful, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. But that's all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. Have a Merry Christmas. I'm out.